Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanishalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. In this session, we'll be discussing from the 6th verse of the 10th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nadhayo vyadhaya klesha daiva bhutatma hetavaha ajatashatrava bhavan jantunam ragni karhichit. The meaning of this verse is, because of the kings having no enemy, the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, diseases, or excessive heat or cold. This is a very interesting verse, that our existence in this material world is always disturbed by three kinds of miseries imposed by material nature upon all of us. So they are described here in these verses. Daiva, the disturbances or the miseries imposed by supernatural powers, the devatas, who control the wind, who control the rain, who control the heat, the sunshine, etc. So we suffer due to excessive heat or excessive cold or excessive rain or excessive wind, cyclone, tornado, hurricane, or earthquakes, or epidemics. Of course, epidemics doesn't come under Daiva. Earthquakes comes under that. Then Bhuta, due to other living entities, enemies, or mosquitoes, or some wild animals, or some pests, like that. Then Atma refers to our own body and mind. When the body becomes fatigued, body becomes injured, body becomes old and invalid, body becomes diseased, we suffer. Or the mind is disturbed due to fear, anxiety, worry, stress, we suffer. So due to our own body and mind also we suffer. So these are imposed upon us. As spirit soul, we are actually free from all these three, but when we are covered by this body, we have to suffer. Now, in the case of the citizens of the world, when Yudhishthira Maharaj was ruling as the emperor, it is described here, the citizens includes not only the human beings, but also the animals and all other creatures. Praja means those who are born in a particular land. So all those who have taken birth are entitled to be protected by the king, not just humans alone. So all of them were experiencing a very peaceful life, free from these three kinds of miseries. Klesha daiva bhutatma hetavaha. So here it is said, because Yudhishthira Maharaj is not having any enemy, ajata shatru, he for whom enemy is never born, ajata, never born, shatru means enemy. So therefore the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, diseases, or excessive heat or cold. They were not disturbed by any of these. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, to be non-violent to human beings and to be a killer or enemy of the poor animals is Satan's philosophy. This is demoniac mentality. This is not divine nature. Just like nowadays, they say we should not harm human beings, other human beings. But when it comes to animals, they don't hesitate to kill animals, especially in the Western countries, and nowadays even in India. So many millions of animals are killed just because people want to eat animal flesh. When there is plenty of vegetables, fruits, and vegetarian grains, dal available, why should people kill poor animals? Why should they kill animals? So this is not at all justified. It is showing enmity towards animals. So this is condemned in the scriptures. Unnecessary killing of any creature, not only animals, even the birds, even the insects, even the worms. Everyone has got a right to live under the protection of the ruler or the king. As was explained in the previous verse, the king is ruling on behalf of the Supreme Lord, and all creatures are children of the Supreme Lord in this world. So this perspective that everyone has the right to live is the perspective of the Vedic scriptures. The Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu, or all creatures, may they be living happily, safely, nicely. This is the correct perspective for our own living in this world. Not that we just think human beings should be not harmed, but it's okay to kill animals. In this age, Srila Prabhupada says, there is enmity toward poor animals, and therefore the poor creatures are always anxious. They can understand. Those animals, they cannot speak, but they can sense that the humans, some humans, they are very, very hard-hearted, they are very cruel, and they treat these animals very badly. So always the anxiety is there. The animal can understand that they are going to be killed. So the reaction of the poor animals is being forced on human society. The killing is not without any after effect. Though the government may not take any action against the animal killers, because the government is a godless government, that's why. So they have got just some man-made laws which punishes someone who kills another human being. But there is no punishment if somebody kills an animal, though the animal also has got a right to live under the protection of the government. But nature, which is controlled by God, nature will not spare these people who kill animals while the animals should be actually protected, especially the cow. Bhagavad Gita says, Go Raksha. Cow should be specially protected. and the other animals should not be killed, they should be left alone to live their own life, the other animals. But because so much killing is going on, there is reaction. And what way do we experience that reaction? That is explained here by Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, there is always this strain of cold or hot war between men individually and collectively or nationally. Men kill each other, people kill each other in the name of nationality. One nation declares war against another nation. Vietnam War, the Iraq invasion, or the invasion of Afghanistan, or all these kind of wars that happen in Syria. So much of fighting between two different groups of Islamic followers, the Shias and Sunnis. So much of fighting. And I recently heard that the United Nations is trying to stop this fighting, and it has been going on for the last 11 years, and there's no respite. The militants, they attack this ordinary civilians. Ordinary civilians are attacked by the militants, and each group goes and attacks these civilians apparently belonging to the opposite group. Like Shias will go, Shia militants will go and attack the civilians belonging to Sunni community, and the Sunni militants retaliate and attack the civilians belonging to Shia community. Now the civilians are completely non-violent. They don't indulge in fighting, but the militants, they want domination, or they want to enforce their own ideology or whatever that may be, but they are fighting against each other, and in the process so many people are either injured or killed, and it's been going on for the last 11 years without any respite. So this is what Srila Prabhupada says. It's actually a reaction. These wars or this fighting between human beings is a reaction by Mother Nature, because these people indulge in killing animals. They are indulging in killing animals. Whereas here it is described in this particular verse that we are discussing, at the time of Maharaj Yudhishthira, there were no different nations, although there were different subordinate states. Yudhishthira Maharaj was the emperor of the world. So there were many states. The whole world was united because there was one emperor. And the supreme head, being a trained king like Yudhishthira, kept all the inhabitants free from anxiety, diseases, and excessive heat and cold. This was the kind of rule that prevailed when Yudhishthira Maharaj was ruling 5,000 years back, about 5,000 years back. They were not only economically well-to-do, as was described in the previous verse. Nature used to supply plenty of all the natural resources. And they were also physically fit and undisturbed by supernatural power. They were also protected against enmity by other living beings. And they were also protected against bodily and mental agonies. So this is the result of the king being God-conscious king, following the principles, the religious principles as described in the scriptures. This is nothing to do with any belief system or any kind of sectarian view of who they believe in or what they believe in. No, it is actually the scientific understanding that ultimately there is only one Supreme Lord, and He is in control, and He administers through nature, justice for all kinds of unnecessary killing. This is the understanding. And so, if the government or the head of state is conversant with these religious principles and rules according to the scriptural codes, then all the people will be peaceful, happy, and there will be plenty of supply. That is what is to be learned from this particular verse. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.